This project looks like quite the mess right now. But it's better than the condition it was in when I found this rare OBS 7.3 F250 sitting abandoned in a barn on Facebook Marketplace. And so far we pulled the rotten bed, ripped hair out fixing a massive oil leak, and replaced the rotten crossmember making the cab sit cockeyed. But it's about to get a whole lot messier. Because in today's video, as we strip down the truck to start bodywork, it keeps fighting me.
What's going on here?
Sometimes it won't start, sometimes it starts and runs like garbage. What the heck? So as I'm trying to get the body of the truck smoothed out and ready for a new paint job, we're also fighting to figure out what's going on with that motor. And it all has to get done in 2 weeks so the truck can get shipped off to have a total frame and undercarriage restoration. And we'll start by pulling the grill, which, after sitting on the front of this brick, is showing its age. There's 4 screws up top, 1 down below.
Now this thing should just, slide on out.
Then onto the bezels and lights. Now suffering from glaucoma. Both batteries get disconnected and come out, and so does this battery tray.
Of course this one's just spinning.
But when 2 out of the 3 bolts didn't want to come out, I decided it didn't have to come out anymore. It could stay put.
You son of a... Oh.
There's 2 screws on top of each light bezel, and a strange threaded thing for the headlight bulb. The marker light twists out, as well as 2 small bolts holding the bezel in place below. Once those come out, the bezel comes off.
Here's one. That sucked.
But it's nothing compared to these silly little retaining clip things that hold the headlight in place, which I should be able to get off with a pick. But no. These things fight me the entire way. And there's one, but surprise, there's another.
There's one more way down there. I just don't understand how you're supposed to get to this one. I mean, there's no room to get that tool in there. Well, I broke something, but now it comes out.
Luckily, we can get replacements for those retaining clips.
That wasn't even plugged in.
Now we'll just remove the other side's bezels and lights. And now that front end is looking a lot different than when we started.
Now what I pretty much have to do is just go around the truck. I have to hit this stuff, these spots, and see if it's still somewhat solid under there, if it's fixable, savable, or if I'm gonna have to cut out and replace that whole piece, or better yet, replace whole doors. This fender up here, yeah, that's gonna be getting replaced.
Fenders are easy to find replacements for, but unfortunately, rear doors on a crew cab OBS, there aren't a lot of them just hanging around. So I'll at least use this wire wheel to find out what stage we're at with this rust and see if these doors are savable. And this rust doesn't seem that bad anyways. The wire wheel does a great job of shedding away rusted metal that's obviously loose and shining up the metal that's still solid under there. It really shows us what's what. If it's crusty, soft, rusted metal, it's going to become a hole when we hit it with this. And luckily, most of it seems not too bad. Now I'm just pulling off the rain guards, since these are going to have to come off to paint the truck. But after putting the truck in the garage for the night, we add a rather major thing to our to-do list with this thing. The 7.3 has got a bit of a problem. See, my whole plan with this OBS project was to get it running and driving good. Not perfect, but good first. I wanted to make sure that all the mechanicals were sorted out before I spent a ton of time on the bodywork, paint, everything else. In case for some reason, some very expensive, unexpected cost came up with, like, say, the engine. And unfortunately, that's exactly what I think just happened. For starters, it just seems like when you first rev it up, like it almost stumbles a bit. Like a slight misfire, and it blows white smoke. White
nostril singeing, eye-watering smoke. And believe me, I know these aren't the smoothest running motors in the world, but mine seems to vibrate a ton when you hold it at certain RPMs. The 7.3 Power Stroke in my Super Duty seems to rev so much smoother. This one, it just seems off, and everything it's doing hints to me it could be injectors.
So I'll show you what's going on. So you'll see when I rev it. Why does it seem fine now? It sounds better than it ever has now. So first things first, I see it every time someone has an issue with something on a forum. Everyone always asks, are there any codes? What are the codes? Now I don't have any lights on the dash, but you could see in the last drive that we didn't have any lights on the dash, unless for some reason they took the bulb out for the check engine light or something. So first things first, I'm gonna scan it for codes. I'm using my brand new scanner, the MuCar 892BT. That's right, it's got a Bluetooth adapter, no wired connection anymore.
But there's just one problem with that.
Where is the OBD port? This would have OBD, right?
I can't find the OBD port.
What's going on here? Something's not right. That's not it. That's not it. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. Looks broken.
I found plenty of hanging wires and empty connectors down here, but nothing that looked like an OBD port. I even looked under the hood by the IDM and the ECM, since someone on a forum said it could be under there. But there was nothing.
No, really, is this some sort of sick joke? Am I missing something here? All right, someone else said passenger side under the ashtray. That's the ashtray.
This truck is a 97, so it should have an OBD2 port.
Just the trailer brake controller.
Somewhere on it.
Unless I'm blind, I'm just not seeing an OBD port anywhere on this truck. They wouldn't put it up there.
But there had to be one. There has to be one on this truck. And then finally...
Wait a second. It kind of looks like it, doesn't it? Oh, it's got these two holes. I wonder if that's supposed to go right there? On the passenger side under the glove box? Really? Guess we'll try it. Oh, that did work. All right, let's see what we got. Fault code. Well, we have a few fault codes, it looks like. System voltage low, intake air temperature sensor circuit high input, KAPWR circuit power interrupted, don't know what that is at all. Turbocharger supercharger boost sensor #A circuit range performance fault. Left heated oxygen sensor inversion, and charge air cooler temperature sensor circuit low bank 1. I don't really know what any of that means. Just gonna go ahead and clear those. So, really, none of those codes had anything to do with fuel or injectors. Maybe I'll read some live data. Put out our little stand. All right. What the heck? So it's not showing any misfires. Well, I don't know what these are, but they have to do with fuel injectors, so we'll click those ones. Everything is in the range that it should be, I think. You know, I'm honestly not sure. The truck seemed to be running much better than it has in the past. All the, levels were in their parameters showing on the live data on the scan tool. There's one more thing that we can try, the injectors test. A diesel injector test, or a buzz test as some people like to call it, is a test that's run through a scan tool to check each fuel injector. If all 8 injectors buzz evenly, life's good. But if one's quieter or sounds different, it could be on its way out, it could already be dead, or it could be something else that's not making it fire correctly.
All right, let's run the buzz test.
The test starts by firing all 8 injectors at the same time. Then it'll test or buzz them each individually.
Says system normal.
And all of them sounded about the same. And I'm sort of lost now. In the coming days, it won't get much better. So we're gonna circle back to this issue.
The next thing that I got to sort out on this thing, because it still doesn't drive very well. Well, actually, neighbor Steve pointed out. And it's my homemade custom alignment. This wheel's pretty straight. Steering wheel in here is straight. But this wheel, yeah, this one versus that one. So it turns out where I screwed up is down here when I did this adjustment. So this is all gonna come off and get adjusted so that this wheel can be pushed out straight, like it should be.
I really had not much of a clue what I was doing when I put on these new tie rod ends. And even though I measured the threads when I took the old tie rod off, everything got so screwed up when I was trying to install the new stuff. But now we'll fix that. Once I loosen the adjuster, remove the cotter pin and the castle nut on top of this tie rod end, many whacks later, it comes out. Next, I'll find a spot to measure from evenly on both sides of the truck. This spot on the frame will work fine, I think. Once I measure both sides, according to my, I guess you could call them measurements, the front end is all out of whack. I'm just adjusting it best I can with the adjusters so it drives better on its test drives, until I bring it to the professionals. But once I get it close, I'll tighten everything back up.
You know what, I think it's time. I think we're gonna take this on another drive and see how it does. I was about to say what's the worst that can happen, but...
Except for we ran into a little issue.
Well, I was about to take the truck for a drive, but now my wait to start light is gone and the truck just cranks.
It's one thing if the truck's just cranking. But why aren't the glow plugs coming on? Or are they coming on and the light's just not working? So I'm gonna start with the basics and check all the fuses on the underhood fuse box. And everything checks out okay, except for when I get to the fuse up top.
No power in this one. Nothing.
That's with the key turned, since this fuse is powered with the key on.
Well, that looks fine to me.
Which is responsible for the fuel bowl heater and the glow plug controller, funny enough. And even with the fuse out, there's still no power there.
That might be our problem.
So for our next test, I'll take the test light and try a few different things recommended on the 7.3 forum. And these concur that our glow plug relay is in fact working. And then something weird happened.
So last night, Dad and I were able to get this to start once. And it's odd because my scan tool now won't talk to the computer in here. And the only time that we got the truck to actually show the way to start light was when I played with some of the wires around here, where the ECM is, the IDM, the injection module, which I learned thanks to the 7.3 forum, and what I presume to be some other computer. So because I really don't know what to do, and because yesterday I thought I was having an injector problem, then it seemed to kind of clear itself out, and then by the end of the day, the scanner wouldn't talk to the computer, and the truck won't start. It's unfortunately seeming to me like there's a problem with maybe the ECM. So to rule that out, and because I don't really care at all to have this, I'm gonna remove the TS6 position tuner chip that was already installed in here when I bought the truck. But what I've read is if that chip fries or that chip has a problem, it can screw with a lot of other stuff. And now it's starting to rain, and of course the truck won't start to go back in the garage. This is perfect.
So while it's still just a light mist, I rushed to check a few more things to see if I can get the truck to start so I can get it in the garage. But it's no use.
Great. It's too late. I've lost. The truck won't start. I've got everything on it trying to get it to go, but it's not gonna go. Ugh.
I'm not the brightest bulb, but even I know it's not the smartest move to work on an open fuse box or open ECM in the rain. So later in the day, once it's dry, I begin to pull the chip from the ECM. And there's some safeguards we must do while messing with the ECM to avoid frying it like an egg. Both batteries get disconnected, and the key goes very far from the ignition, so we don't accidentally turn it on. There's one bolt that holds the bundle of wires into its connector into the ECM itself, which comes out. Then 2 bolts top and bottom that hold a molded gasket type thing around the ECM itself. Then with a bunch of wiggling, the ECM finally waddles out from its cave, where we find...
What? I thought this frickin' thing had a chip in it.
But after utilizing my brain for a second, I think I know what happened. So I'll pull the parking brake assembly back out to reveal...
Aha. So there's the chip.
It must have come unplugged when we were pulling the ECM out of its hole. And just like that...
And the chip is out.
At this point, I'm not sure if I just plug it back in and go for it, till Dad gets home and makes that call for me.
Well, it's running. Per Dad's advice, he just got home and he just said to plug it in and see what happened. So I did, and it started.
With the wait to start light and everything. But this won't be the last time we'd be playing games with this thing. But just because it's alive again, doesn't mean it looks any better.
Now we gotta fix some of the dents that are on this cab. They're pretty bad. This one right here is pretty long. Pretty decent sized dent there, but the worst one is definitely that one. Coming around on this side, you can really start to see just how screwed up it is. They must have had a trailer on here, jackknifed it or something, and hit the cab. This one's gonna be a little bit of a project to get out. And to try to fix these, I went and picked up one of these. Not a clue what I'm doing.
This here's a stud welder, and what it does is welds these small stud nail sort of things onto the dent, then we pull on those, which pulls the metal back into place, removing the dent.
I've never done this before, and I'm sure that sounds a lot easier to do than it actually is to do. Let's see how it goes.
The damaged area's got to be bare steel so the stud welder can weld the stud onto it. So I'm just grinding off all the old paint and primer where I think I'm going to need to attach these things.
Now again, I really have no idea what I'm doing here, but I know that the dent seems the worst right in the middle here. There's this little barely dent that goes along here and here, but that's not really what I think this is best used for. This, I think I'm gonna start with up here where you can see that it's pushed in, work my way down to here. This is a body line right here, so I don't wanna mess that up, but it is kind of caved in, so.
So we're just gonna have at it, because honestly, I'd rather try to fix this thing myself and have it not perfect than drop thousands to have someone else do it. I don't have thousands anyway.
Well, here goes nothing. My gosh, it worked. It welded on a thingy. Now we just have to pull that, I think.
And to pull it, they give you this slide hammer. The end just slides onto the stud, and with a few pulls and slides of the hammer, we work the dent outwards.
Can't tell if it's doing anything. Maybe it pulled out a little bit? I really can't tell at this stage if it did anything, but I think it did.
Now I'll just go to town welding on the little nail stud thingies into all the low spots, and then work each of them out with the slide hammer. Slowly but surely, the back of the cab starts to resemble flatness again. I check it with a straight edge, weld on more studs into different spots of the dents, and keep on pulling, while using a body hammer neighbor Steve gave me to tap down the high spots. Once it's close, I'll grind it down once again, and start working on the upper cab damage. Dad grinds the paint off so we can weld on some tabs. In this spot, I originally thought we could push out from behind, but when I stripped the interior trim out to access it, the metal was doubled up, so I couldn't. So for this one, I'm gonna weld on 4 studs across the width of the dent, then take wide, flat vice grips to pull them all at the same time.
One just broke off.
2 broke off. Chances are this is strong right here. Oh, now we have 1. Now we have none.
He's coming a little bit. Wow, he's coming. Holy crap, look at it, yeah, because I cracked the paint.
Put one right there.
Once we switched to 1 nail at a time, right before our eyes, the big dent started to actually return to shape.
Put one here now.
Coming. Holy crap.
Go right here now.
Some nails didn't get a good enough weld
Coming out.
and would come right off.
Did come out some. Came out quite a bit. Almost out, Jake.
Wow.
That's not bad at all. It moving?
It moved a little bit.
A little better than none. Yeah. Still a little bit.
That's coming.
Huh?
That's coming.
Why'd you jinx me? That's a lot better. Put one right there now. That's minimal now.
There's a high spot on the left from where the damage bulged out, which Dad's tapping flat now.
Looks a little better from my side.
Then we weld a few more nails into some final low spots to pull them out, before finally, the damage is almost entirely back to level.
Nice.
Not bad for a few rookies and a cheap Harbor Freight tool.
I wonder how this thing melted like this.
We pulled the melted third brake light out.
Yeah.
I have no clue how this thing got melted like this. There's a lot of odd stuff with this truck. Seeing as though this thing is needing more and more work under the hood, I'm gonna tackle replacing the broken hood latch so I can stop slicing my finger open on this cable I have to pull manually. There's 2 bolts that hold the latch to the radiator support, then the release cable is held to the latch with this little plastic cover, which is covering a little loop of wire that goes around the latch. Then I have to fight tooth and nail to get the plastic cable out of the latch. Boy, that thing is really in there. But finally, leverage breaks it free. Now we're in the interior and we just have to remove this trim panel down here, which means removing these screws right here. Yep. Those are screws, I think. What the heck? What is even left of that thing? Yeah, there was no hope. I think maybe I can pry this plastic piece up around the rusted screw. Maybe it'll just collapse. How is this supposed to work, really? How is this supposed to work? Oh, I don't think that was supposed to happen. But once we get this lower trim piece out of the way, we finally get access to the hood release handle. It's just held on by 2 little screws. But with that out of the way, we then have to pull the grommet, which is very securely through the firewall, out. And it's not the easiest thing to access. But eventually, finally. Now we just thread our new cable through the hole, go into the engine compartment and pull the cable up through, secure our new handle in place, then route our cable over to the latch, where we attach the loop in the cable to the latch assembly and bolt the latch assembly back to the radiator support. I'll clean up the routing on this cable. I know it's ugly. All right, it's all in. Now to see if it actually works. Not off to the best start. All right. Guess the hood has got quite the off fitment. And when I try to pull the new handle,
Oh boy. That's not good. What the heck? I think I might have had something off with the latch up here. So let's give it one more shot. And the hood actually shuts right now. Ready? Oh yeah. Haha. It worked. We can scratch another item off the to-do list. But the next day when I go to move the truck, I find it has a check engine light on. I get it running, and my scan tool is finally able to actually talk to the ECM again, so I check the codes, where I'm greeted with many. I clear the codes, but the truck just still doesn't seem to run right at this point. And while the ECU is actually talking to my scan tool, I'll do another injection buzz test. And this one sounds different than before. So I do some more digging on the forums to try to find out what my problem could be. And a lot of guys said to unplug the injection control pressure sensor. So that's just what I'll do. The amount of mud on this motor cemented this sensor into the engine. But I finally get it off, not realizing that it's not even the right sensor. It looks fine. But the really odd thing is, when I go to start the truck, I think it runs better. It runs way better. What? Come to find out, the sensor I unplugged was not the injection control pressure sensor like I was supposed to unplug. What I unplugged I believe to be the IPR, or the injection pressure regulator sensor. But the weird thing is, the truck shouldn't run with that unplugged. And mine ran, and it seemed to run better. And now with it plugged in or not plugged in, the truck won't start. It's the next day. I started the truck to pull it out of the garage, and then it died. It started puffing a little white smoke. It just shut off. Now all it's doing is cranking, and it won't fire off. I am lost with this thing. So then I dive back into the engine bay to find the correct sensor, the injection control pressure sensor. Does look a little oily right there, doesn't it? A little wet. Definitely say that's oily. Which is supposed to signify a bad sensor. So with the sensor unplugged, I climb in and try to start it. Oh my gosh, it started. Oh my gosh. Still got the check engine light on. So it's looking like that sensor's bad. But it's running, and it's running well. I think this thing honestly sounds the best that it ever has since I've had it. I mean, the check engine light's still on, but it sounds a ton better. Guys, it's driving better than it ever has. Oh my gosh. This is incredible. Let's see if it starts again though. Oh my gosh. This is the greatest day of my life. I just realized something though. The check engine light is only on because I've got that sensor unplugged. Genius. So I'll order one of those in, and in the meantime, get back to bodywork. And I'll start with a Sharpie and marking out every single dent that I need to pull out using the stud welder. Which should be just as easy as the last time I used it, right? My gosh, I'm messing with this thing, and I can't get it to, it's not working. So I try a few different extension cords, plug it into different outlets, and my idiot self, I didn't actually grind it down to bare metal like you're supposed to do. I just kept putting it against the paint, and I'm like, oh, why won't you work? It's a Saturday, the brain's not fully on. Yeah, or I'm just an idiot. So I'll grind the spots down to bare metal, weld on some nails, pull them out, and use the body hammer to tap down any high spots. And this area is looking pretty decent. There's one more spot in the middle lower section of the cab that I want to pull out. Then I spread out all my repair areas with the DA so that I can blend it in more easily, because that's what neighbor Steve told me to do.
before I do any more body work to that upper cab damaged area, I need to get the back glass out, which I won't be attempting to do myself. So in the meantime, I'll use the adhesive remover attachment on the drill to remove the 25-year-old double-sided adhesive tape that still surrounds the windows from the rain guards. And this stuff, even with this really good drill attachment, puts up a fight. But eventually it all comes off, so then I'll move on to removing the adhesive molding on the side here, which doesn't look bad from a distance, but up close, it's falling off the truck and it's cracking. And it needs to come off so I can paint the truck anyways. So using a lot of heat from the heat gun, I'll peel them up, and then remove the remaining adhesives with the drill.
I started going over this fender, then I remembered this thing's just getting replaced anyway.
Now that Father's around to finally give me a hand, we can make some serious progress on this thing. He removes all the chrome trim around the windshield while I pull the wipers.
Nice. A lot of dirt.
So we can clean the areas under them.
Wow. Okay, take the gun and blow this all out now.
Yeah.
Look at it.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Yes,
That's why it rusts, probably.
Under the trim is where a ton of crap collects and likes to cause rust by the windshield. In fact, that's what killed my dad's OBS truck that he had, the truck that made me want this one so bad.
Look at all that. That was all that in there? Oh yeah.
There was so much crap around the windshield. Vegetation just sitting there, waiting to rot it out. Dad's just scrubbing it now with a brush. Before wetting it all down with some soapy water and Simple Green and really going to town. Now it's looking the cleanest it ever has in here.
All right, today I should be able to finish all or most of the bodywork on the cab. I gotta get some trim off. I gotta figure out getting this back windshield gasket seal off so I can continue the bodywork, finish it up over there, get these seals off. There's still quite a bit to do.
And I'll start by pulling the mirrors off. They'll have to come off the paint. But of course, it's not as easy as just removing the two screws on the outside. So off comes the door panel.
It is so cool to me. I don't think these door panels have ever been off. That's wild. All that to get this one bolt. There it is.
Both mirrors off, I'll pull the front bumper. There's just 2 bolts on each side.
That was easy.
Then the front bumper comes off.
Those are nice and solid because it's covered in oil.
And then it's on to removing the back window.
Oh my God.
Grace? Yes, right. Yeah. Let's just get that moving our way around here.
As Dad opens up the rear window gasket with a scrape tool, I spray in a mix of soapy water to lube it up.
Don't be shy with it, because the more the better. There.
2 idiots auto glass.
That's so nice.
Then by hand on the inside, Dad starts to work that gasket out.
Is it coming out?
Yeah, it is.
Just hold that a little. I'm gonna make sure the side's coming loose, so.
Yeah, it's coming. It's peeling right out. Okay.
think we gotta get the top now. I'm running my handle on it. It's just pulling it right out. Then do it. Is it coming? Yep. I work my way around the outside. Yep. And then finally.
Come out. Come up. Oh.
Wow, that is, yeah, that's, oof.
Getting in a hard deal. Figuring it.
With back window out, it's back to bodywork. Pinstripe decals gotta go. But then I find something interesting.
Well, this is really odd. I got the heat gun out. I'm about to pull off this little decorative line here, this strip. You can clearly tell that it is a sticker. See, that'll peel up like a sticker. But on the panel next to it, front fender, there's no real edge. Look at this. This is paint. Why is that paint and this a sticker? Why would they do that? What would cause that? Was this original and this was repainted and they just used a decal? Someone let me know. I'm intrigued.
If someone knows why that might be, please comment down below, because I'm quite curious. I'll pull the rest of the decals off. But now it's time to tackle the rust. Not deep corrosive rust, just spots all over the body where rocks chipped the paint and primer, and surface rust started on the bare metal, since it wasn't protected. If we don't address it now, it'll develop into more than surface rust and really start eating through the metal. I'll grind these spots down to bare metal, by the windshield and up on the roof here. Then I'll chemically treat all these spots to kill off any rust we didn't grind off. I'm gonna apply some of this. This is Rust-Oleum Rust Dissolver Jelly. I've used it on the Jeep, the low mile Jeep project that we did, and it worked out really good. It's like the same thing as like a navel jelly. I think they call it nasal jelly. That doesn't sound right. It's like an acid gel and it sits on there. It like eats away the rust. This is my way of chemically treating the rust before I actually go and do my bodywork and stuff. I think this is the proper way to do it. This is from what I've read. This stuff is cheap. I think it came from Walmart. And it does a good job of getting in the little pits that I can't catch with the wire wheel.
I just found this one spot where I noticed that this cab corner is the paint's chipping off it. It doesn't look like it's rusted very badly, but I don't want that getting any worse. So while I'm in here, I'm gonna grind this down, get the rust out of there, apply some of that dissolver jelly stuff again, and just clean this up. See, the good thing is, at least, this is all, see, it's all just surface rust. A little bit of surface rust peeling up the paint, but it's solid metal, just looks really bad.
So after attacking it with the wire wheel and the grinder, it's time to apply our Rust Dissolver Jelly to all the spots. We just have to put it on very heavily with a brush. And there's even these little tiny pits on the side of the upper cab that I want to ensure we get as clean as possible. The wire wheel cleaned out most of these areas really, really well. This is really just overkill to get in those little pits to ensure all the rusty metal's gone.
Now it's been 15-20 minutes since we first applied the Rust Dissolver Gel. Now we're supposed to just rinse it off with water.
I'll use a spray bottle with water to rinse those areas off. And while those dry, Dad and I use the stud welder to pull more of the dented area by the back window, since we can get to it with the window out of the way. Once we get it good, I'll grind down all the remnants from the studs, and Dad will mix up some of this fiberglass body filler. Neighbor Steve suggested using this fiberglass reinforced filler as opposed to a regular filler in this area. Something about its better resistance to moisture or rusting. While the filler dries, Dad and I continue sanding down the rest of the truck.
all these scratches and all these little rock chips need to be sanded smooth. Then if they don't sand out smooth, they'll have to be filled. And there are a lot of them. White hides a lot of imperfections. When you look a little closer, this truck is full of them. The adhesive that attaches the molding to this part of the truck must have had some sort of chemical reaction to the paint or something to cause all these little bubbles in the paint.
You can see down here on the door, I'll try to get it on the camera. See, right here, there's these line of little dots, and it's actually like the paint bubbling up where the trim was. This right here is just a little bit of leftover adhesive from the wheel. That'll come off. It's all these little paint chips, like there's a little paint chip right there, but all these little bubbles are just lifted paint from that molding. This whole thing is gonna have to get sanded down and smoothed out.
We're actually making some great progress with this thing. But then we take a few jumps backwards.
Now it's the next day. Let the glow plugs warm up. And now the truck won't start. It ran the best that it ever has last night, and now it won't start. This thing is tricky.
So I'll charge up the batteries and spend some time on my second favorite website, the PowerStroke forum, to try to find some solution to my problem. But like a sign from the heavens, a package arrived.
All right, something has finally arrived, and hopefully it's the piece that we need to sort out the way that this thing is running. I'm trying to be optimistic.
Especially since it was around $150 to get.
This is it. This is the ICP, not I smell P, ICP injection control pressure sensor. I went with the Ford original one. I didn't want to cheap out and get something aftermarket. I guess this is pretty important, and I guess it's a pretty common failure with these. I just hope it's the failure with this one. These things are the absolute best. I'll include a link to this one that I'm using down below. So much light. And here is our sensor.
And to be extra cautious, I'll disconnect both negative cables from the batteries, then unplug the connector, then struggle immensely to get the sensor out of the engine, since I don't have the proper tools to remove it. But finally,
Here it is. Definitely oil in there.
and here lies hopefully our fix. It threads nicely back into the engine. I use a collection of the not proper tools to tighten it up.
I think that's as tight as I'm getting it with this.
Then I'll take some electronics cleaner and clean up the connector itself, since it was saturated with oil. As well as the little rubber seal on the connector. Then it can go back on the connector, and the connector can get plugged back into the sensor.
It's time to try it. It's time to try it. The new sensor's in. I just hope this works. Come on, baby. Crap.
When I try the second time,
Okay. I can't tell if it's running any better or not. There's no check engine light on.
but we'll take it on a little ride around the block to see if it feels any different.
All right, here we go.
To be honest, I don't know if it's any better or not. Don't know what that was. I don't think it's better. I don't know if you guys can see the smoke or not. It doesn't idle smoothly, and it still has some white smoke coming out of it. And it like burns your eyes, like it's acidic. Huh. I gotta figure this one out. We don't have any codes, just an ABS light on now, which doesn't help us in this situation at all. What is wrong with you? And because I'm still stumped on what to do, I just let the truck sit there and idle for a while. Since after all, this thing did sit in a barn for a long time, and it didn't get driven. But unfortunately, we're gonna have to circle back to this again. Because now, the new bed we got for the truck has to be placed on the truck. So that the frame and underbody can be completely refinished. We gotta go high. And huge shout out to my brother Tyler and my dad for the help. Look at this. It's been a minute since I've seen this thing with a bed on it. Look at that. All right, so the 7.3 is loaded up behind the 7.3, and tomorrow morning I'll be bringing it to my buddy's shop so we can completely strip down the underside of the cab, the underside of the frame, the underside of the new bed, and beautifully refinish it so it'll look as nice as the top side of the truck does, as long as I can do okay bodywork. It's a very cool process that I'll take you guys through, but you guys will have to wait till next video to see how it comes out. So that's a wrap for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you're not yet subscribed, we're less than 10,000 followers away from hitting my goal of 100,000 subscribers before the end of this year. Like, over 80% of my viewers are not subscribed. It's free to do so. It's one click. So hit that subscribe button. Let's surpass 100,000 subscribers. We've got like a month and a half left, I think. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Happy motoring.